This is a partition that is underneath this sink, and it just moves back and forth. Would you move it back and forth?
Yeah, I got
This is the partition that's underneath the sink, and it just moves back and forth. It's not secured by anything, just flops around.
Hey, don't do that.
We took a short trip, and when we came back, we noticed this fender thingy was loose, and closer investigation showed that the screw had fallen out, no doubt because the screw wasn't put in properly, because that's just how things seem to be. And then closer investigation showed that probably what happened is this has no support to it, so obviously as you're going down the road, the wind can just catch it, and one would think there would be a support there to hold it in place. The seam where the molding meets up with the body is lifting. You can see where it's bubbling, and you can see where further along the trailer it's not doing that. So the problem is to the left of the door where it's bubbling. That's something that needs to be dealt with. The door was supposedly fixed at Apple Way because it did not fit correctly. See the previous information on that problem. But anyhow, it came back supposedly fixed, and the molding to the left of the door was a bit loose. My husband noticed that. He also noticed that at the very bottom there was some water staining. He was going to staple the molding back in. However, when he moved the molding, he noticed there was a significant gap between the door and the frame, and that basically the screws screw into absolutely nothing. And so obviously the molding couldn't be tacked in because the molding was tacked into absolutely nothing. When you measure it, you can see it is approximately 5/8 of an inch of a gap from the very bottom of the door frame running all the way up to the top. And additionally, because it's not tacked into anything, the trim on the top is not secured in any manner. You can see that there's a big gap there. If I can stick my hand in there, excuse my expression, but I cannot believe this kind of, quote, repair was allowed to go out of a shop. Consequently, because of this lack of repair, which the picture doesn't show, but there's a tiny hole at the bottom of the frame. You can maybe see the little bit of light going through there that is allowing water to come up, and therefore that stained the molding, which eventually will cause water damage. Again, I cannot believe this was considered a repair. Additionally, I'd like to note that when we did pick it up from this quote repair, they had obviously done something with the screen door, and the screws were not in it properly, and my husband had to actually borrow a screwdriver to fix the screen before we could head on our way. On the slide out pillars, the whatever is laminate, whatever it is, on the pillars is lifting. You can see my husband's pushing it and it's bubbling out. This is occurring on both of the pillars, on the kitchen side slide and the other dining room slide, and also the bedroom. This dent was apparently in the trailer when we bought it. However, because it was shown to us and we did the walkthrough, all the lights were not on. It was not noticed because it's dark and it's a dent in the refrigerator frame. When I brought that to the attention, I was told tough luck because I didn't see it during the walkthrough. The converters stopped working. We're not sure exactly when, and because it failed, it drained our batteries, and it's a very probable chance the batteries are ruined. When my husband opened up the access panel to determine if there were any kind of fuses back here that had to be dealt with, he noticed that there was just a complete mess of sawdust, that the converter is sitting in sawdust. There are loose screws and just a mess in there, which I can't have access enough to show you with the phone. I put this little video together to point out the many problems we've had with this Kodiak Ultimate Trailer. It was purchased the end of February 2023, and we picked it up the first part of March. The first problem we noticed is when my husband was bringing it home, he noticed that the door didn't look closed. He noticed that in his trailer mirrors. When he went to investigate, he found the door, actually the frame and the door didn't match, and there was a big problem with it. That was brought to the attention of the dealer, and we had to bring the trailer back at the end of March. It sat there with nothing until the end of May. We also discovered the heater wasn't working and many cosmetic problems. When we got the trailer back, we discovered the door was not repaired properly. You can see the information on that elsewhere in the video. And then on a subsequent trip, end of May, after we picked the trailer up, beginning of June, we discovered the air conditioning was not working. We dropped the trailer off at the end of June, I believe. Nope, sorry, beginning of June, and then picked it up again later on. We were told it would be done within the specified time I needed it. I needed it by June 23rd. It was not ready. When we picked the trailer up at the end of June, making a specific trip to go get it, the air conditioning worked that evening. However, the next day it did not. And in this video, you can see a picture of the ambient temperature outside, the temperature with the air conditioner running, and the thermostat. So that was not repaired. I repeatedly called and texted and got no response, and that's when I finally called the sales department and asked to be connected to Dave. Dave said he had not received my texts. He gave the explanation he'd not returned my phone calls because he was busy and the only person there. I requested to speak to a manager. The manager did return the phone call. However, we played phone tag, and therefore I've done this video just to show some of the problems, not all of the problems, we've been running across.